Hey everybody, Otaku Hedgehog here, and I just finally completed Kingdom Hearts 3 a few weeks ago. I did everything that I wanted to do. I completed the main story, I completed the battle gates, and I got the Ultima weapon, and I beat the secret boss. And so I've been wanting to make this video for a while now. I see a lot of people on YouTube giving their opinion about this game, and it seems like the community is quite divided. We have people who say that this game is amazing, and we have other people saying that this game is a terrible sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. And so I just wanted to take the time to give my thoughts in this of this game. Now, this is probably going to be a long video, so I'm going to have links in the description towards each section of my little, I guess, review, you could say. So, first and foremost, I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I was there for the launch of the very first Kingdom Hearts game back in 2002. I remember seeing the commercials on TV back in my days watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon after school, and just being amazed seeing all these Disney characters rendered in 3D on the PlayStation 2 hardware. And of course, at the time I knew nothing about Final Fantasy, so Kingdom Hearts was actually my introduction to the Final Fantasy series. And so when I first tried the prologue of Kingdom Hearts in a video game store called Game Crazy, they're not around anymore, I immediately fell in love with the game and wanted to buy it ASAP. In fact, Kingdom Hearts was actually my very first PS2 game that I ever owned, and I've been a dedicated follower of this series ever since. And I went on to buy every game that came out afterwards, and I even ended up hard modding my PlayStation 2 back in 2009 so I could play the final mixes. I like the like the rest of the fandom, I've been eagerly waiting for the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 ever since completing Kingdom Hearts 2 back in 2006, and when I first saw the reveal trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 shown at E3 2013, I felt like I could jump to the moon and back. I've gone through every Kingdom Hearts story in some form or another. I own every Kingdom Hearts game, and I even did a marathon of all of the HD remasters on this channel prior to the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. Shameless plug there. And overall, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and I've loved playing through Kingdom Hearts 3, but it doesn't change the fact that there are some glaring flaws in this game that I'd like to discuss. So first of all, I'll start with the good points about this game. So the first big pro of Kingdom Hearts 3 is that the worlds are huge. There are fewer worlds than in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but the size of each world makes up for it in this game. Olympus, for example, is like 3 worlds in one. You have the Thebes section, then you have the Mount Olympus section, and you have the Realm of the Gods section. Each area is larger than your average world in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's mind-boggling. And we also have actual NPCs in this game who actually speak to us, in addition to Donald and Goofy giving tips and comments throughout the Disney worlds, thus giving more life and immersion into the game. Also, the game is absolutely gorgeous. Sora and the gang have never looked better. Some of the Disney cast looks so good that it's as if they popped right out of the movie. Even the environments are insanely detailed. When you perform magic attacks like fire, you'll see your surrounding area get scorched. And when Sora dives into the water, for example, you can even see the texture of his clothes and face are fully wet. Character animations are less stiff-looking than in previous Kingdom Hearts games, and best of all, no annoying speech bubbles or fish faces. There are plenty of ways to fight in this game. There is so much more than to just mashing the X button. You can use standard Keyblade attacks, you can use Keyblade transformations, you can use magic, you can summon other Disney characters through links. The shot clocks from Birth by Sleep return, as well as the flow motion from Dream Drop Distance also returns. And we also have the new ability to use Attraction Flow. I also love the soundtrack in this game, as I do with all Kingdom Hearts games. Yoko Shimomura is a genius composer, and Hikaru Utada's Don't Think Twice and Face My Fears are absolutely amazing. I love listening to them on my iPhone every day on my way to work. It's really unfortunate that Master Xehanort's original voice actor, Leonard Nimoy, passed away prior to the release of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I believe his new voice actor, Rutger Hauer, hopefully I said his name right, tried his best to emulate Nimoy, and still sounds decent, though Nimoy's voice was absolutely brilliant and will always be missed. I also thought Alison Stoner did a good voice of Kairi as well. When I first played Kingdom Hearts 3, I didn't even notice that Kairi had a new voice actor, so I guess that really says it all. I also thought Lucky Emblems were a great feature in Kingdom Hearts 3. It encourages exploration of the massive worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. Unless you have an extremely sharp eye, you'll have plenty of replay value in this game, looking for all these emblems, assuming that you're not using a guide to help you though. I also love having the ability to take pictures and share them with the community. The Snapchats-like images in the loading screens were also nice to look at and gives the players something to entertain them with while they wait for their game to load. And thanks to the new form change feature, every Keyblade is now useful, and you can have 3 Keyblades equipped at the same time, giving the player more opportunity to strategize in different combat situations. I also liked the Fantastic 7 minigames, and I felt that they were more fun and more down-to-earth than the Mushroom 13 challenges from Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. I felt that a lot of the Mushroom 13 challenges weren't as self-explanatory as the Fantastic 7 were, and required the average player to use some sort of guide in order to defeat them with a high enough score. And some of the Mushroom 13 challenges were just flat-out unfair and luck-based, such as Mushroom 8.
Alright, let's go, little guy. No, 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 no! We're good, we're good. And up. No, 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 no! Oh, we're Gucci. We Gucci fam. No, I did little. Oh, why am I so bad at this? I'm losing my mind. It's about 45 minutes into doing this, and I'm not getting any better. No, 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 no. No, 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 come garbage, man. Doing good, making progress. You guys will notice, oh my god. No, 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 come on! This is real great. This is real great. Don't shoot me. There's no... that should hit, yeah. Right in the corner. Stay there, stay there. Oh, I'm gonna pop above it. Oh. Over the top of it. Ah, yeah, goodness gracious. Give me that. Misery, please. Why do I keep doing that? No, why are you... what the... Let's go. I shouldn't. Oh, I hit it twice. Top's 49 or top 16. Great. Right there, and then I go anti-form and why did I hit it twice? Oh my god. What? Am I that off? Fly away out of my range. No! No! Don't hit the ground! You Yes! Yes! Yes, you Yes!
I also love how open world the Gummy Ship style gameplay was. I feel as though the Gummy Ship missions can be a game in itself. I also like that this game had plenty of minigames and gimmicks to keep the core game from getting stale. And even though that we don't have world revisits, each world in Kingdom Hearts 3 is plenty long and will take the player a while to complete throughout their first playthrough. It was awesome how they incorporated the top players of Union Cross into this game. When all the fallen Keyblades are used to take down the giant demon tide, I thought that was pure genius. I also felt that Terra's character was redeemed in this game. A lot of people give Terra a lot of criticism for being so gullible in Birth by Sleep, but seeing him fight back as Xehanort's guardian and rescuing Vin and Aqua and bringing back Ericus in the final scene really shows how important of a character he is. I also liked how after you beat each organization member in the Keyblade Graveyard that both parties do have respect for one another and are willing to become friends in the next life. I also loved how the final fight of the game ended up with the original trio, Sora, Donald, and Goofy. It really goes to show how long they've come since their first adventure on the PlayStation 2 way back in 2002. And yeah, those were all my main pros that I had with this game. So now it's time for me to talk about the cons, and boy, do I have a lot of cons to discuss when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, so first of all, let me start off with the gameplay. First of all, this game is way too easy. In my first playthrough of the game, I played on Proud Mode, and I didn't die a single time outside the pirate ship sections in the Caribbean world. The core game is just flat out too easy. Proud Mode felt like standard mode to me. There's even a video of someone doing literally nothing in the Saïx fight, and he wins. I'll leave a link in the description below. I know this game has a no EXP gain ability that you can simply not give Sora any stat boost items such as power-ups and magic ups, but that doesn't excuse the fact that Square Enix made a game whose difficulty is poorly balanced. I shouldn't have to create my own difficulty for a challenging experience. Also, I believe that they gave Sora way too many fighting mechanics at the beginning of the game. Shots lock, flow motion, attraction flow, Keyblade transformations, and limits should have been stuff that we unlocked throughout the game. Like links, we weren't given the ability to use links until we got to Twilight Town. We didn't have that in Olympus at the very start, unlike the many other fighting mechanics in this game. It's just too much all at once. It's stated that Sora lost all his power and is back to level 1, but when you start up the game, Sora feels like he can take on Xehanort right here and now. And why do links restore your health in this game? Summons didn't restore your health in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 if I recall correctly. And why is there no MP cost for using Grand Magic and limits? You can even use Grand Magic when you're going through an MP charge and have no MP left. Little things like that just make it feel as though this game is spoon-feeding you. And why is there no critical mode? Critical mode has been a staple in this franchise since 2007 with the release of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Apparently there is a playable incomplete critical mode hidden within the game files, but this just goes to show how much of an incomplete product Kingdom Hearts 3 feels like. I also feel that they downgraded flow motion a bit too much from Dream Drop Distance. I understand why they would downgrade it because the mechanic was so overpowered in the original Dream Drop Distance and was easily exploitable to use to get to areas where you shouldn't be able to get to by normal means, but because of this downgrade, I found it not very useful in combat. Oftentimes when I tried to use a full motion attack by air dashing into a wall, my full motion attack often missed the enemy, so I just stopped using it. Also, I hate the attraction flow attacks. They come up too often and completely obliterate enemies. And worst of all, they cost you absolutely nothing! At least the limits in Kingdom Hearts 2 depleted all of your MP points, and the shot locks in this game cost you focus points, but the attraction flow rides don't cost you anything, and they wipe the screen of heartless and devastate bosses. If it were up to me, I would have attraction flow completely disabled for all boss fights, and in the Keyblade Graveyard world completely. And I would also make it so that you can only use the attraction flow once per fight. Just like how summons were in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, where you couldn't summon the same character more than once per fight. I also felt that there are too many Heartless in this game. The Nobodies and Unversed were completely overshadowed by the amount of Heartless in this game. The Unversed only appear in one world outside the 10,000 enemy fights in the Keyblade Graveyard, and we don't get a single giant Nobody fight at all. It would have been nice if they brought back the Twilight Thorn or something. There's a specific mini Heartless boss called the Rock Troll who we have to fight 3 times. Once in Olympus, once in Arendelle, and once in San Francisco. I would have rather had fought against the Cyclops Titan in Olympus over the Rock Troll, as he was the only Titan missing in that world. And also, there are no Colosseum-like tournaments in this game. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, we had the Olympus Cups, and in Birth by Sleep we had the Mirage Arena. In this game, we don't have anything like that. The closest thing I can think of were the Battle Gates, but they can't compare to the Mirage Arena or the Olympus Cups. They don't even have any bosses outside of Battle Gate number 14, which has Dark Inferno. What a missed opportunity. It would have been awesome to be able to refight each world's final bosses and the Organization 13 at higher difficulty in these Battle Gates. Because of this, Kingdom Hearts 3 feels like it doesn't have much replay value, as you'll be able to go through all the battle gates quickly and without much difficulty. Also, what was the point of the 3 segments of playing as Riku and Aqua if they didn't bother to revisit the idea of playing as the other Guardians of Lights again later in the game? In Kingdom Hearts 2, there was a reason why we played as Roxas in the game's prologue for the first 3 hours of the game. It was to get us emotionally invested into a character who would soon disappear and then would later be revealed as a big plot twist and boss in the final act of the game. The tiny segments of the playable Riku and Aqua were just there purely as fan service. And also, there's way too many classic Kingdom games in Kingdom Hearts 3. Having 2 or 3 playable in Twilight Town would have been nice, but having a whole series of them was just overkill. And why can't we customize Sora's outfits in this game, like we could customize Aqua's outfit in Birth by Sleep 0.2? Just imagine all the time they spend programming these little classic Kingdom games could have been spent towards making more outfits for Sora. Imagine finding a big chest in Monstropolis containing Sora's Halloween Town outfit, and a big chest in Arendelle containing Sora's Christmas Town outfit, and a big chest in Twilight Town after completing the game containing Roxas's organization coat. And imagine if Sora can wear those outfits in the cutscenes, similar to how the drive forms would appear in cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts 2. It would have been awesome. And while I'm on the topic of Birth by Sleep 0.2, why does that game have a critical mode and 99 save slots, while this game has no critical mode and only 9 save slots? What sense does that make? Square should have known that we would want to make multiple save files to give us an easy access to the many boss fights in this game, since none of them are refightable after you defeat them aside from the final boss and secret boss. And also, why are there no world revisits? The only time that we ever revisit a world is to speak with Merlin to get the 100 Acre Woods book. What was the point of the 100 Acre Woods? All you do is play 3 Candy Crush knockoffs to get a few ingredients for cooking. What a waste of development time this world was. And speaking of Twilight Town, why is Twilight Town in this game smaller than it was in Kingdom Hearts 2? That just makes no sense to me. And to think that this is supposed to be the hub world of the game. Just, what? And why can't Sora dual wield in this game? I understand that they want to show off the Keyblade transformations as a new battle mechanic for this game, but that doesn't mean that they need to get rid of dual wielding. Dual wielding in Kingdom Hearts 2 was way more fun than the attraction flow system in this game. Also, as a side note, is Sora dual wielding even canon to the story? I know there's a cutscene in Kingdom Hearts 2 at Yin Sid's tower where the fairies explain how he can use 2 Keyblades with his new clothing, but I think that was just for the sake of explaining a new gameplay mechanic. Throughout the rest of the game, and all future Kingdom Hearts games, dual wielding is never even mentioned or referenced. Is Roxas the only character in story canon who can use 2 Keyblades at once? And also, as for the Keyblades transformations, they're cool and all, but they can't replace dry forms. Ultimate Form in Kingdom Hearts 3, for example, just looks like a bootleg version of Final Form from Kingdom Hearts 2. Okay, that was all my complaints about the gameplay. Next, I'd like to move on to my complaints about the story. And good grief, where do I begin? The story for this game is B-A-D bad. First of all, the plot pacing is horrendous. It has the same exact story structure as Dream Drop Distance. You spend 3 hours in the Disney World, then you get a small cutscene or 2 relating to the main story. Spend another 3 hours in the next Disney World, then you get another cutscene dealing with the main story. Spend another 3 hours doing more Disney nonsense, then another small story-related cutscene. It's not until you clear all the Disney worlds where the story really begins, and Sora finally starts using the power of waking to start rescuing people, which we've waited for him to do for the past decade. And story-wise, this game doesn't feel like a numbered entry at all. It feels more like a setup game. Dream Drop Distance had the same exact story structure, but for that game it was excusable because it was simply a setup game for Kingdom Hearts 3. But this game has no excuse for its terrible plot pacing. We have Mickey and Riku in the Realm of Darkness, where we get to play as Riku for a short segment, making us believe that we'll get to play as other characters later in the story, but nope. This whole playable side character feature goes nowhere. Mickey and Riku are defeated and upgrade their Keyblades off screen, which isn't even really explained. Since when can characters upgrade their Keyblades in story canon? I know that we've always been able to upgrade our Keyblades as a game mechanic, but we've never seen that done in the story, with the exception of Roxas upgrading his and Shion's Kingdom Keys into Oathkeeper and Oblivion with no explanation in the cutscene in the 358 Half Days DS game. And apparently Riku didn't actually upgrade Road to Dawn, because we see him leave it in the Realm of Darkness for Repliku, who has no body to use the Keyblade with. It doesn't really make any sense, but whatever. But anyway, he literally gets a new Keyblade called Braveheart off screen with no explanation. What, does Yin Sid have some spare Keyblades lying around in his tower or something? Then Riku and Mickey leave the Realm of Darkness to do some hypothesizing in Radiant Garden, wondering what we already know happened to Terra, and we don't get to play as Riku again until near the end of the second half of the game, after we complete all the Disney worlds. What a missed opportunity. Can you imagine, instead of making that pointless trip to the 100 Acre Wood segment, they made Radiant Garden playable, where you get to play as Riku in the middle of the game to balance out the excessive amount of Disney content? What a missed opportunity. We also have some cutscenes of Kairi and Lee in a hidden forest area where we're told that they're doing some training in a hyperbolic time chamber-like area where time doesn't matter, but we never actually see them sparring together or fighting enemies with their keyblades. Again, another missed opportunity. It would have been nice to be able to play as Kairi, training with her keyblade and realizing the struggles that Sora and Riku must have had to go through, considering the fact that they were self-taught, giving us some major needed character development for Kairi. And of course, Lee having some faint memories of Xion, wondering if there really was a third person that he hung out with alongside Roxas in his days in the organization. And of course, we have Sora going to all these Disney worlds for literally no reason at all. At least in Kingdom Hearts 1, there was a reason why he was traveling from world to world. He was looking for Riku, Kairi, and King Mickey, as well as sealing all the keyholes so that the Heartless couldn't devour the worlds. In Chain of Memories, he was at the mercy of the organization, traveling through all these Disney worlds in his memories in order to travel higher and higher into Castle Oblivion. In 358 half days, Roxas was following orders by the organization, collecting intel of the various Disney worlds. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora was again looking for Riku and protecting the worlds from the organization, who were actually wreaking havoc and committing emotional impacts among the Disney characters. In Birth by Sleep, Terra was traveling the worlds in search of Master Xehanort and Vanitas. Ven was looking for Terra, and Aqua was looking for both Terra and Ven, while each protagonist was protecting each world from a new threat, the Unversed. And in Dream Drop Distance, Sora and Riku were assigned with the task of sealing the 7 sleeping worlds' keyholes, so that they could obtain the power of waking and to awaken our fallen heroes to help aid them in the final battle against Master Xehanort. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, there's basically no reason for Sora to travel to all these Disney worlds. He instead says that he needs to somehow reclaim the power of waking, and that it'll probably happen naturally. Then he goes to explore all these Disney worlds for literally no reason. I guess it could be argued that Sora's looking for Terra, but Mickey and Riku come to the conclusion shortly after the first Twilight Town visit that Xehanort must have been possessing Terra. So what's the point of Sora wasting all this time at all the Disney worlds? Why didn't Riku and Mickey just let Sora know that they believe that Terra is being possessed by Xehanort? Sora is going through all these Disney worlds for literally no reason at all, and the organization members who appear there have virtually no reason for being there or no impact on the characters. In Kingdom Hearts 2, at Beast's castle, Zaldin was the reason why Beast went berserk and started trusting no one, and at the end of the second visit to Beast's castle, we actually fight against him. And in the first visit to the underworld, Dimmick steals the Olympus Stone, and we fight him for it. And in the Port Royal world, Luxord is the main antagonist of the second visit, and although we don't fight him in that world, he is still responsible for summoning the boss Heartless and for placing the curse back on Jack again. In Kingdom Hearts 3, however, the organization members don't have much of a reason for being there. Sure, young Xehanort is curious about how toys can have hearts, and the negative emotions caused by the children's screams and fear of monsters attracted Vanitas and the Unversed, but in the worlds like Arendelle, Corona, and the Caribbean, which were all more closely based off the actual movies, the organization members didn't have much relevance in the world. They were there purely just to tell Sora some mumbo-jumbo, summon a giant Heartless, and leave. The whole new Princess of Heart plot didn't go anywhere either, and just served in order to force Sora and the gang into a combat with Xehanort, as well as probably being nothing but sequel bait for the next saga. And we fight none of the organization members in the Disney worlds. And for some reason, Vexen pops out of nowhere in the final cutscene in the Caribbean just to say that the box that everyone playing this game knows isn't the box that the organization was after, wasn't the box that the organization was after. What was the point of Vexen appearing in that scene? They might as well have had Vexen say, "Oh, apparently there are fish in the ocean." It would have been nice if Sora briefly fought against Vexen, just so Vexen could give Sora a hint that he wants to help him using his replicas and betray the organization or something. Sora, Donald, and Goofy don't have much impact on the worlds either. They're just there purely for the sake of being there. In Arendelle, for example, Sora, Donald, and Goofy hardly even interact with Elsa. And we get a remake of the Let's Go musical scene, and Sora pops up here and there just to remind us that this is Kingdom Hearts, not the Frozen movie. I think things would have been a lot better if each Disney world had its own original story. Arendelle, Corona, and the Caribbean are direct adaptations of the actual movies, and the Kingdom Hearts character's relevance in the world suffers because of it. Arendelle, in my opinion, was the worst world in the game. And I believe that it could have been a lot better if they just made an original story that takes place after the movie, where Larxene is causing some trouble in Arendelle, then Elsa and Anna join your party, just like how Sully and Mike do in Monstropolis World. The giant snow monster was a cool party member and all, but I think Elsa and Anna would have been more interesting. As for Corona, they could have made some original story after the actual movie where brunette Rapunzel takes martial arts classes or something. Anything to prevent her from falling out as a party member after you complete the Corona world in this game. She's the main character of that world, for Pete's sakes. The story of all the Disney worlds being nearly identical to their movie counterparts worked in Kingdom Hearts 1 because Maleficent and the group of Disney villains basically were the Organization 13 of that game. Now, in Kingdom Hearts 3, though, the Organization members are overshadowed by the actual Disney movie villains because of the no revisiting feature in Kingdom Hearts 3, thus reducing the significance of Organization members being there in the first place. While in Kingdom Hearts 2, on the other hand, oftentimes you'll fight a Disney villain or a Heartless boss in the first visit, and then against an Organization member causing ruckus in the second visit. It may be that I'm just getting old, but I'm at the point where I just don't care about the Disney content anymore. I was born in 1992, so I grew up with movies like Lion King, Aladdin, Tarzan, and Beauty and the Beast, so going through all those worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 was very nostalgic to me. But as an adult, I don't really care about Frozen or Tangled, so I don't have the same connection that I had when I played through those worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 than I did with the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I know Kingdom Hearts started out as a crossover between Disney and Final Fantasy, but Kingdom Hearts has really evolved over these past 17 years. It is no longer a strange experiment by two companies. Kingdom Hearts has become its own franchise with its own story, with its own character, and with its own lore. I don't care about seeing a downgraded reimaginings of Disney movies. I just want to see the journey of Sora and the other Keyblade wielders in their battle against the darkness. I don't want to waste my time building a snowman in Arendelle or dancing with townsfolk in Corona. Apparently, a lot of people are feeling worried that the next Kingdom Hearts game may not have much Disney presence, which I highly doubt is the case. But if the next game hypothetically didn't have much Disney presence and we start exploring more original worlds, I would honestly be just fine with that. As long as we have characters like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy in the story, I'm fine with exploring less Disney-themed worlds. I also felt that there was a huge missed opportunity with the San Francisco world to incorporate the Heartless bugs from Recoded. The nanobots look just like the Heartless bugs, so why couldn't Repliku just use the bugs to infect the original Baymax instead of the nanobots? I also hated how in the Keyblade Graveyard, everyone just all of a sudden gives up when they see the giant demon tide, even though they just finished fighting off 10,000 somewhat enemies with no major injuries. Everyone just stands there like an idiot and gets swallowed up by the Heartless. And then Sora starts whining, saying that they lost. And they did the same thing when Terranort appeared too. This feels so out of character. Sora wasn't ready to give up in Kingdom Hearts 1 when he loses the Keyblade and Donald Goofy ditch him. I know it sucks for Aqua and Vin to see their best friend being possessed, but again, Sora didn't get all depressed standing there like an idiot when Riku was possessed in Kingdom Hearts 1, or when Aqua succumbed to the darkness a few scenes ago, so what's the deal? And why does the prologue of this game take place in the Disney world? In both Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, we had the prologues take place in the original worlds, but in this game we're just immediately thrown into Olympus. This leads me to think that the structure of this game wasn't very well thought out. As a matter of fact, they could have just tweaked Birth by Sleep 0.2 to be the prologue for this game, or at least just be about Aqua's journey through the realm of darkness after she teamed up with Mickey in Birth by Sleep 0.2 during the events of Chain of Memories through Dream Drop Distance. What was she doing, and how did she end up with Ansem the Wise at the Dark Margin? That would have been a better prologue in my opinion. Actually, now that I think about it, Birth by Sleep 0.2 really could have been the prologue for Kingdom Hearts 3. Because back in 2017, when they released the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 HD remasters on the PS4, along with the 2.8 HD remaster on the PS4, what they could have done, they could have just scrapped all those HD remasters and just make the Kingdom Hearts, the Story So Far collection for the PS4, and just take out 0.2 and simply have that as the prologue for Kingdom Hearts 3. I think that would have made more sense. But anyway, in Kingdom Hearts 1, the prologue started in Destiny Islands, where we were introduced to Sora, Kairi, and Riku, in addition to being taught how to play the game. Then we had Traverse Town as our hub world, which we revisited many times to chat with the Final Fantasy characters and receive guidance on what we should do next in the story. While in Kingdom Hearts 2, we had the prologue in Twilight Town, where we were introduced to Roxas, Hayner, Pence, and Olette, and were given a sequence of tutorials to get adjusted to the game mechanics, as well as some Kingdom Hearts 1 recapping. Soon after that, we were introduced to Kingdom Hearts 2's hub world, which was Hollow Bastion, which we again revisited a numerous amount of times to once again chat and interact, and even fight alongside the Final Fantasy characters, and are told what to do next in the game to move on with the story. Both Destiny Islands and Twilight Town were a place to call home for our main characters, which they had to leave behind at the beginning of the game. Sora is not emotionally tied to Olympus, it's just a random Disney world, and we only revisit Twilight Town once in the entire game. And it's not even for a story update, but just to pay an optional visit to the 100-acre woods. Not to mention that Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 3 is smaller than Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 2. Also, this game has no Final Fantasy characters to guide Sora, Donald, and Goofy, making the game feel really empty. The mixture of Disney and Final Fantasy is what made Kingdom Hearts so popular and mind-blowing. Instead, we just have Enzo speaking to Sora through a phone in cutscenes. We never even have the option of walking up to Enzo and talking with him. There was no big middle section in this game or any plot twists either. The closest thing to a plot twist that this game had was Vexen rescuing Ansem and Hayner and the gang and betraying the organization. But that can't compare to Kingdom Hearts 2, where we learned that the main villain, who we fought in Kingdom Hearts 1, wasn't the real Ansem, but his apprentice is Heartless. And then we learn that the leader of Organization 13 was that same man's nobody. That reveal was mind-boggling. And then we're thrown into 1000 Heartless fight. Kingdom Hearts 2's story just destroys Kingdom Hearts 3's story. I guess the whole thing about Lushu being Xigbar all along was an interesting plot twist, but that was in the epilogue. By that point, the game is over, so it just ends up being sequel bait anyway. And aside from Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 1 also had a really big plot twist. Throughout the majority of the game, we're assuming that Maleficent was the big bad villain in charge, controlling all the Heartless, but then once you get into Hollow Bastion, you realize that an even bigger villain was pulling the strings behind the shadows. It turned out to be Ansem, the very person who studied the Heartless and whose reports we've been collecting all this time. That was a pretty mind-blowing plot twist as well. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 has nothing like that. This game has a disappointing lack of character interaction. I was looking forward to see Roxas and Ven speaking with one another, Terra and Aqua seeing Roxas, along with Lee and Shion's reaction to seeing Ven. Terra and Riku never even spoke to each other. There's a scene with Terra and Riku near the end of the game where Terra walks up and says, "We gotta move, the darkness is spreading." He completely ignores Riku and doesn't even comment on the fact that the little boy who he passed down his Keyblade's power to ended up becoming a Keyblade Master. What a missed opportunity!
Let's move. The darkness is spreading.
And Kairi is a terrible character! Her potential was wasted in this game. What was the point of even giving her a Keyblade? A rock would have made a better Guardian of Light than her. At least you can throw a rock at Xehanort. Kairi, on the other hand, didn't do anything. She just gets kidnapped by Xemnas, and her death encourages Sora to clash against Xehanort and forge the 13th key. She ended up helping the villains more than the heroes. She was hyped up ever since the secret ending of Dream Drop Distance back in 2012. So for the past 7 years, we've been speculating what Kairi would fight like and how she would help Sora in the final battle against Xehanort. In the end, we just get a single phase of a two-phased fight with her. Then she gets kidnapped and dies. It's just mind-boggling how much of a wasted opportunity she was in this game. Honestly, what was the point of even giving her a Keyblade? And Lee wasn't that much better. Well, those were my main issues with the story. Now I'd like to discuss some minor unanswered questions and concerns I have about Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, first of all, I was wondering, shouldn't Sora have lost the ability to use the Keyblade when Ven woke up? Wasn't Ven being inside of Sora's heart the whole reason why he could use the Keyblade in the first place? So shouldn't the Keyblade have returned back to Ventus? Also, why does Vanitas wear his helmet in this game? This feels like a plot hole to me and an error on Square's part, due to the whole Dream Drop Distance trailer bait where we see Sora seeing Vanitas unmasked in that game, and then isn't mentioned at all for the rest of the game. So Sora should already know what he looks like. So why is he surprised when he sees Vanitas' face in the Keyblade graveyard? Also, how did Xion come back, and why is she with the organization? Was she blackmailed by Xemnas or something to work for him again? How does Xemnas and the other organization members even have memory of Xion? This is never explained and just feels like a big plot hole. And if she time traveled to get here, then what about the part of Xion that's in Sora's heart? Is it just irrelevant and ignored now? Because earlier in the game, they said that there were 3 hearts residing inside of Sora's hearts, and 2 of them were obviously Roxas and Ventus, so about the 3rd heart, that has to be Xion, right? Also, why does Xion have the same Keyblade as Sora? This just makes Xion look redundant. They should have had Roxas give Xion the Oblivion Keyblade since it was originally hers in the first place before it got upgraded in 358 half days. And aside from Xion, how did Roxas come back? There was no vessel around at the time of his return. He just falls right out of the sky to help his friends. It's so poorly written and goes to show how rushed the final act of this game was. What happened to Demyx? He delivers a replica to Enzo, and then we never see him again. What was the point of even having Demyx in this game? They could have just easily have had Vexen deliver the replica himself. We don't even see Demyx in the ending CG scene. It's as if he fell off the face of the earth. I also really dislike the idea of when a Heartless and Nobody are destroyed, then the original person returns. Because of this, I feel that there is now no consequence to becoming a Heartless. Back in Kingdom Hearts 1, becoming a Heartless was basically the equivalent to dying. Your body disappears and you are basically reduced to a zombie-like state. But now if you become a Heartless, you'll eventually return once your Heartless and Nobody are destroyed, so what's the big deal? Also, what happened to Terra's lingering will? We see him briefly attack Terranort after Sora saves everyone using the power of waking, and then he disappears. What happened? Did the lingering will lose the battle? The game never explains. It would have been nice if we could play as a lingering will in that moment. And why are Dylan and Alias mute in this game? They don't have any voiced lines. Enzo was the only one doing all the talking at Radiant Garden. I don't see how or why they couldn't help Enzo with his research. In the secret Ansem reports in Kingdom Hearts 2, it was stated that not only were Dylan and Alias guards for the castle, but they're also scientists, if I recall correctly. And I found it funny how in 358 half days and in Kingdom Hearts 2, how Zaldin always was complaining about how love is a useless emotion, and yet he's on the edge of tears when you see Ansem returns. Also, in the beginning of the game, when Riku and Mickey first enter the Realm of Darkness, Riku freaks out when Mickey says Aqua is like Sora. I don't know what was the point of that. I don't know what's going through Riku's mind at that moment.
But Aqua? She's like Sora.
What?
No. Strong like Sora.
Oh.
And why are the organization members like Luxord, Larxene, and Marluxia willing to give up their free will and end up becoming vessels for Xehanort? What motivation could they possibly have for this? Larxene said that she was along just for the ride with someone, probably that someone being Marluxia, but what were the other members' motivations? What could possibly be worth giving up your life and freedom for? They never explain. How does Aqua lose the Master Defender's Keyblade, and why can't she rematerialize it to protect her against Xehanort's Heartless? I guess it can be assumed that because the Keyblade was not only in another world, but in another realm completely, that she couldn't rematerialize it because it's too far away. But again, they never explained this. Like I said, a potential Birth by Sleep 0.2 like prologue for this game would have been the perfect opportunity to explain how she lost the Master's Defender Keyblade. And why wasn't Axel concerned about the fact that Vin hasn't aged for over 11 years? In fact, why isn't anyone concerned that the Birth by Sleep trio haven't aged in 11 years? And in the Keyblade Graveyard, I'm confused how Sora and friends were able to time travel after their defeat. After Repliku comes and summons a bunch of Heartless, Riku makes a comment to Mickey telling him not to use time magic, but I thought that you can't change events destined to happen, just like how Maleficent couldn't time travel in Union Cross to prevent her defeat. Also, another minor missed opportunity that they could have done was have young Xehanort turn good and join Sora and friends. At the end of Dream Drop Distance, you can see Riku and young Xehanort taking a glare at each other, hinting that something big would go down between them in Kingdom Hearts 3, but Riku and young Xehanort never even get any dialogue together. I was speculating that Riku, with his experience of using the darkness, would have been able to convince young Xehanort that darkness is not the right way and that he should instead walk the road to dawn. And why was Kairi the only guardian other than Sora whose heart wasn't captured by the Lich? Is it because she's a princess of heart and so the heartless can't touch her because she has no darkness in their heart for them to feed off of? If that's the case, then again they didn't bother to explain this, which makes this whole scene end up feeling like some Deus Ex Machina plot convenience. I am also dumbfounded as to why Sora loves Kairi so much. Yes, everyone has their childhood crush, but with Sora, as stated in 358 Half Days, can't even function without her, and we are never shown why. There's a little saying called show, don't tell, that Kingdom Hearts does not follow. Throughout these past 17 years, we've always been told that Sora loves Kairi, but we are never shown why. Yeah, sure, Sora has sacrificed himself for Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 1, and Kairi protects Sora from the darkness in this game, but why do they love each other exactly? Sora and Kairi didn't even grow up together. Kairi grew up in Radiant Garden, while Sora and Riku grew up on Destiny Islands. Kairi was just sent to Destiny Islands at a young age by Princess Xehanort in the hopes she would lead him to the Keyblade. So what makes Kairi so special in Sora's eyes as compared to the other girls in his village? We never know. Sora just likes Kairi purely for plot convenience. I don't get it. Did Kairi save Sora as a kid from being bullied? Did Sora save Kairi from drowning when she was first sent to Destiny Islands? Is it just the power of a princess of hearts to romantically capture the hearts of Keyblade wielders? I just don't know. Sora's in love with Kairi to the point that he can't function without her, and we may never know why. And it sure doesn't help that Kairi has been written as such a bland character over these past 17 years. I am also disappointed that throughout the entire Xehanort saga, that we are never shown how Xehanort and the other apprentices betray Ansem the Wise and banish him into the realm of nothingness, and start creating the artificial Heartless and cast aside their humanity to become nobodies. We read little glimpses of this here and there in the secret Ansem reports in Kingdom Hearts 2, but again, show, don't tell. We are never shown the betrayal of Ansem and how Radiant Garden becomes Hollow Bastion, nor are we ever shown how Xehanort takes Ansem's name, continues his experiments on Heart, and interacts with his first Heartless and Gummy Blocks. The closest glimpse that we have of this is the first cutscene in Dream Drop Distance when Xehanort claims to be Ansem, summons the Gazing Eye Keyblade, and stabs Briag, but we never see anything else beyond that. And again, Kingdom Hearts 3 fails in providing any context and showing what happened. Also, in this game's epilogue, where were the foretellers summoned back from exactly? Didn't they all perish in the first Keyblade War in Kingdom Hearts Key? And Lucius said he had to abandon his old body. I wonder, will we ever see his original form in later installments? Another small complaint that I have is that I believe that Square Enix showed way too much in their trailers. They basically spoiled the entire game in their promotion. In the Tokyo Game Show Big Hero 6 trailer, for example, I don't think they should have shown the glimpse of Roxas and Ansem the Wise. And in the final battle trailer, I don't think they should have shown Xion, Ventus, Jerithy, Scala, Adkylium, or the remnants of the Organization 13 either. It was all just way too much. There's a difference between creating hype for your product and spoiling all the important parts. And I know that a lot of people are just going to tell me to simply not watch the trailers, but I have to honestly ask you, what year are we living in? This is 2019. Even if you avoid trailers, if the product is trending online, then you're going to find spoilers of said trailer everywhere, whether it's in thumbnails, discussion titles, profile pictures on forums, Twitter posts, etc. As long as you have the internet, you are vulnerable to spoilers. And if you honestly expect me to avoid the internet for 4 months just because of a video game, I'm sorry, but that's not happening. One last concern that I had was Luxu being revealed to be Xigbar really planned from the beginning, or was that something that was just thought of at the last minute? So basically, centuries ago, the Masters of Masters told Luxu that one day there will be a Keyblade wielder who will side with the darkness in order to summon Kingdom Hearts, and that Luxu should help him do it, and after Kingdom Hearts is summoned, then the Master of Masters will be able to return. Well, if that's the case, then I gotta ask, was Luxu losing his eye in Birth by Sleep a part of the plan? And what about Luxu losing his heart to become a nobody? Was he prepared for that as well? He wasn't given the Book of Prophecies, unlike the other apprentices, so I'm unsure if he had the knowledge of the nobodies and the heartless. Hopefully Luxu's perspective of pretending to be Xehanort's right-hand man will be revealed in the future. And overall, this game doesn't feel like a real numbered title, and could have easily have been called Kingdom Hearts 2.9. It lacks the amount of content that previous numbered titles had, and focuses too hard on trying to be a setup game for Kingdom Hearts 4 through the use of constant sequel baiting instead of just focusing on being Kingdom Hearts 3. The mysterious black box, sequel bait. The mysterious girl that Lee and Isa were friends with as kids, sequel bait. The new princesses of heart, sequel bait. The ancient Keyblade legacy that slumbers in Larxene, Marluxia, Luxord, and Dimix, sequel bait. Luxord's wild card that's given to Sora, sequel bait. Then reuniting with his Cherothy, sequel bait. Sora disappearing at the very end, sequel bait. Luxu summoning back the 4 towers except for Ava, sequel bait. Luxu being revealed to be Xigbar, sequel bait. Secret ending with the hooded figure, sequel bait. Kingdom Hearts 3 creates more questions than answers, which is not a good thing as a conclusion to the Xehanort saga. So another minor concern I have is how exactly did Naminé come in contact with Terra? She's never even met him. How does diving into Sora's memory allow her to contact Terra? That doesn't make sense to me. And when Riku became Ansem in Kingdom Hearts 2, was he by any chance able to communicate with Terra's Heartless, since he did use him to capture Roxas? And when Terra returned to normal in Kingdom Hearts 3, shouldn't Ansem and Xemnas popped out of existence? Because technically, don't Ansem and Xemnas stem from Terranort? I'm also a bit confused how the ancient X-Blade that Xehanort was so obsessed with obtaining throughout this entire Xehanort saga. He said that that's what Keyblade wielders of the past fought over, but in the actual Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross games, from my understanding, the X-Blade isn't mentioned at all. I admit that I haven't played those games from beginning to end myself, and I just actually watch cutscenes on YouTube, but from what I saw, the X-Blade wasn't shown or referenced at all. What the Keyblade wielders in that game actually fought over was just Lux, which are little particles of light, but they didn't fight over the X-Blade, from my understanding, so is that a plot hole, or is Xehanort just have false information about a weapon that never actually existed in the ancient past? I'm confused. Now, with all the cons out of the way, I want to briefly debunk some common complaints that I've been hearing about Kingdom Hearts 3. First of all, a lot of people are comparing this game to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, stating that Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't have enough post-game content. Sure, the lack of post-game content is a perfectly valid criticism, but my question is, why are you people acting so surprised? Nomura always has a bare-bones release for the main Kingdom Hearts games, and then later makes a final mix version with a bunch of post-game content. I'm not defending this though. It is definitely a sleazy business practice to release the same game a second time with more features just to get us to double dip, but that's just how Nomura and his team works, and they've been doing this for the past 17 years. In the original Japanese release of Kingdom Hearts 1 on March 28, 2002, the game only featured one secret boss, the Phantom Heartless at the Clock Tower. It wasn't until later that year, when the game released worldwide, that non-Japanese consumers got additional secret bosses including Kurt Zisa, Ice Titan, and Sephiroth. Then, in December of that same year, the Japan-exclusive Final Mix was released, including even more content such as new abilities, new Keyblades, new cutscenes, new Heartless, the bosses from the international released versions, as well as a new exclusive Final Mix boss titled Unknown. That's 3 versions of the same game released within the same year, and Kingdom Hearts 1 wasn't the only game that had this practice. Birth by Sleep was originally released in Japan of January 2010, and would see an international release 8 months later. In the international release, we had the addition of Critical Mode, Crown Sticker collectibles, fixed cutscenes, and a new secret boss known as Mysterious Figure. And again, January of the following year, Nomura released the Japan-exclusive Birth by Sleep Final Mix, containing even more content than the international release, such as new Unversed minigames, more levels in the Mirage Arena, new Keyblades, new secret bosses, and a whole new secret episode leading into Birth by Sleep 0.2, a fragmentary passage. Lastly, in the case of Kingdom Hearts 2, while there wasn't much notable difference between the Japanese and international release, Japan did see a release of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix less than 2 years after the original release, containing, again, additional content absent in the vanilla release, such as new cutscenes, Keyblades, bosses, puzzle piece collectibles, and areas to explore, as well as a Rechain of Memories bonus disc. My point is that Nomura always makes another version of the game with additional content. And keep in mind, in the case of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Birth by Sleep, we got more content than what was in the original Japanese release, given to us at a later date, consisting of more post-game content. That wasn't the case with Kingdom Hearts 3 though, because we got the game at a near simultaneous release as the Japanese for the first time ever. Again, is this a moral business practice? No. But Nomura and his team have been doing this for the past 17 years now. I don't understand why everyone is so surprised at the lack of post-game content, because none of the vanilla releases had much post-game content except for the later international releases of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Birth by Sleep, because those games were essentially partial final mixes anyway. Another thing that people are complaining about is the fact that this game is too easy, but then they'll also complain about there being no reflect spell in this game. How are you going to complain about this game being too easy, but also complain that Square took out an OP and easily exploitable spell from the previous installment? You need to make up your mind. Is this game too easy or too hard for you? You can't have it both ways. I also don't understand, why were people complaining about the long cutscenes? I'm a very story-driven gamer, so I enjoyed the long cutscenes in this game, except for the Disney ones, which were just retellings of the actual movies. Another thing that I don't understand is that, why are people complaining about there not being enough Keyblades? This should be common sense as to why there are so few Keyblades in comparison to Kingdom Hearts 2. Each Keyblade has its own unique transformation and battle style. It takes way more work in this game to add more Keyblades than in previous installments, and because of the Keyblade transformations, now every Keyblade is useful, and you can even power them up. Even the Kingdom Key is now a relevant Keyblade to use in the endgame. Yes, I do wish there were more original Keyblade designs and not so many Disney-themed Keyblades, but we'll probably get more in the inevitable final mix. Lastly, some people are complaining as they expected Kingdom Hearts 3 to be the end of the series. But as Nomura stated time and again in interviews, Kingdom Hearts 3 was never to be the end of the franchise or the end of Sora's journey. It was always just meant to be the end of the Xehanort saga since the beginning, which this game has concluded. If you got misinformation leading you to believe something completely false, you can't blame the game for that. Besides, it wouldn't make any sense to end the franchise here anyway. Kingdom Hearts is too popular, as proven by all the hype that we've had these past 6 years leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3, nor would it make any sense to end Sora's journey here, because we have much unexplored potential with the Birth by Sleep trio, and the 358 Half-Days trio as well. In addition to Namine and Kairi, who can still use some much needed growth and character development. Now that I'm done debunking some complaints, I'd like to briefly discuss some ideas I had about how I'd change Kingdom Hearts 3's story while still trying to consider the development time and resources Square had to work with. First, I'd have a prologue set before Olympus where we actually get to play as young Xehanort. We start with a cutscene on Destiny Islands, with Master Xehanort's heart meeting up with young Xehanort and setting him off on his path to see other worlds and become a Keyblade wielder. And the prologue also should explain how young Xehanort left Destiny Islands and found his second home in Scala ad Caelum, and how he is given the Keyblade he used in Dream Drop Distance and eventually given the Gazing Eye by his and Ericus's master. Maybe there can be even a third female student among young Xehanort and young Ericus, as Kingdom Hearts games normally have a trio of 3 friends, and they can use this third female student for the sake of sequel baiting, perhaps. Then, after 2 Disney worlds, we get to play as Riku and explore a playable realm of darkness. I'm not a game developer, but I assume Square could just use some of the assets from Birth by Sleep 0.2 for this. While playing as Riku, we then run into Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. We then have to fight Ansem, Seeker of Darkness as Riku. Ansem then summons a demon tower and disappears. The story then continues as normal, and we get the Oblivion Keyblade. Okay, and next, I'd like you to erase the 100 Acre Wood segment and that world's Keyblade. It was completely unneeded, and we're going to pretend that we can use that world's time and development resources for something else. Then, after we complete 4 Disney worlds, we have the segment of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, taking Ansem the Wise hostage and Norting Aqua. In the actual Kingdom Hearts 3 game, we have to wait until we complete a 6th Disney World to see what happens to Ansem the Wise. I would axe that plot choice and make the 2 Ansems confront each other as the midpoint section of this game. So, after the 2 Ansems meet, Ansem Seeker of Darkness immediately takes Ansem the Wise to Twilight Town, and then Hayner, Pent, and Olette are rescued by Vexen's Nobodies, and Ansem Seeker of Darkness summons Xemnas and tells him to take control of his rogue minions, and then heads off to find Ansem the Wise. And then Hayner and the gang tell Sora to come to Twilight Town immediately through the Gummy Phone. Sora arrives and finds Xemnas causing ruckus with his nobodies. Then we have to fight a giant wave of nobodies, and then Xemnas summons Twilight Thorn, or perhaps a new giant nobody, because we actually had no giant nobody fights in Kingdom Hearts 3, which was disappointing. And then after that, we have to fight Xemnas as Sora. Then after the fight, we get the 2 become 1 Keyblade, and then Xemnas continues to taunt Sora about how he has no way of bringing Roxas back, and that putting him in the data world will just be another way of making his heart a prison. Sora then meets up with Ansem the Wise along with Vexen and Hayner and the gang. Sora tells Hayner and the gang that the whole putting Roxas in the data world isn't such a good idea. Vexen then informs Sora that it may be possible to place Roxas in the replica. Sora, Donald, and Goofy, Vexen, and Ansem then travel to Radiant Garden. Vexen gives Sora the Roxas replica, but Sora has no idea what to do with it. Sora, Donald, and Goofy head to Mysterious Tower and leave the replica there for now. Then, after 6 Disney Worlds, we get to play as Riku again, exploring more of the Realm of Darkness. Then we have the whole anti-Aqua fight start. Sora gets a notification from Chip and Dale to go to the Realm of Darkness. Sora then flies to Destiny Islands, which is actually playable as a mini hub world and as an entry point for the player to revisit the Realm of Darkness. And if the player explores the world, they can find Sora's Kingdom Hearts 1 outfit in a treasure chest. Sora then enters the Realm of Darkness alone and saves Riku, Mickey, and Aqua. Sora takes Aqua back to the Mysterious Tower to rest by orders of Yin Sid. Aqua is comedically shocked by the Roxas replica, thinking that it's Ven, but Sora explains everything to her. Finally, after the 7th and final Disney World, we get a cutscene where Sora, Dawn, and Goofy transform Castle Oblivion into the World of Departure. Then, we have a segment with Kairi and Lee. Here, we get to play as Kairi in the Hidden Forest and are ambushed by a swarm of Unversed. After fighting their way through the enemies, they are ambushed by Vanitas and young Xehanort. We then have a 2-phase fight. In the first phase, Kairi and Lee fight against Vanitas and young Xehanort. Then, we get a cutscene where Vanitas gets a mental shock after he senses Ven's presence has been revealed. He teleports away and leaves young Xehanort to Kairi and Lee while making a witty comment like, "I assume you can handle 2 Keyblade noobs." In the second phase, Kairi and Lee must fight young Xehanort and a bunch of Unversed. After the fight, Kairi asks young Xehanort why he came here. Young Xehanort laughs and says that he wanted to check up on one of the Princesses of Heart as well as testing Sora's burning fire. Young Xehanort says Kairi will be the dying flame that leads to Sora's destruction. Kairi holds her ground and says that she's going to fight by Sora's side no matter what. Young Xehanort disappears. After the fights against young Xehanort, we are rewarded the Oathkeeper Keyblade. Then, the Land of Departure segment takes place where Aqua fights Vanitas and Sora wakes Ven up. Also, erase the Vexen and Dimix scene. What was the point of even having Dimix in the real Kingdom Hearts 3, honestly? After the Land of Departure segment, we then return to Mysterious Tower. Ven and Lee are comically shocked by Roxas's replica. Sora tries to use the power of waking to bring back Roxas, but fails, because for the power to work, there must be a time of need, not want, as he learned with Ventus. Then, a loud earthquake happens. Everyone heads outside. Sora takes the replica outside too, as he's worried it might get damaged inside. Pete and Maleficent are causing ruckus outside, as they want information on the black box. Ven and Aqua are disgusted to see Maleficent is still up to no good after 11 years. Maleficent makes a comment about the Roxas replica, thinking it's one of Sora's fallen friends, which makes Lee upset, causing him to throw a wall of fire at Maleficent. Maleficent counteracts with her own wall of fire. In a big fire struggle, Lee loses and gets badly hurt. Sora screams in terror, and his heart aches. Roxas then comes out of Sora's heart and into the vessel. Sora and Roxas then team up to take down Maleficent and Pete in the boss fight outside of Yin Sid's tower. For some reason, this area was cut out of the final game, but was shown in trailers. This could have at least been used for a small boss fight. After the fight, Pete and Maleficent leave, and we get a heartwarming reunion between Roxas and Axel. But they can't help but feel that someone's still missing. Roxas looks at Kairi and gets a similar reaction that Lee had and starts crying. Roxas and Ventus are comically freaked out when they see each other. Aqua is amazed by how Roxas has 2 Keyblades and is self-taught and isn't even a Keyblade master. Lee points out the fact that he doesn't remember Roxas having 2 Keyblades outside of the dates at Twilight Town. Roxas seems to have no memory of how he got his 2nd Keyblade, but he can't help but feel that it belonged to a dear friend as he takes another look at Kairi. Then, before Sora, Donald, Goofy, Riku, Mickey, Kairi, Lee, Roxas, Aqua, and Ven head to the Keyblade graveyard, Donald makes a funny comment at Mysterious Tower, wondering how he's going to fit 10 people into his gummy ship. Then, while we're at the Keyblade graveyard, when the Lingering Will appears, we get to fight Terranort as the Lingering Will. But we lose in the following cutscene, and Terranort takes the armor and becomes even stronger. It turns out, the Lingering Will lost on purpose so that his mind can be closer to his heart and body to help him break free. Then, when Repliku fades away after being defeated by Sora and Riku, we see the good Repliku's heart goes to Kingdom Hearts Heaven after he merges with the other Repliku, so we know he has a happy ending. Sora then takes the replica because he has a feeling that it may be able to bring the war into their favor, as he remembers there's a 3rd heart inside of him, and they can always have Vex and Ansem make another replica for Naminé some other time. Also, erase the whole collecting 111 Soras in the Final World segment. I want to move that to a later scene. As for the Terranort and Vanitas fight, I'd have that as mostly the same, except that Terranort has Terra's Keyblade armor on, which would help explain how Terra gets his old Keyblade back. When Terra gets his body back, his armor falls off, mimicking the scene in Birth by Sleep when Xehanort first took over Terra, and to keep the player briefly in suspense of knowing whether or not Terra or Xehanort is in control of the body. Also, for the Xion and Saïx fight, erase Xion from your memory and replace Xion with Demyx. The game doesn't even bother to explain how Xion comes back, so I'm changing that. Roxas, Lee, Kairi, and Sora then fight against Saïx and Demyx. Xemnas powers them up. After a while, Saïx and Demyx overpower Sora and friends. Sora and Kairi are knocked back. Saïx and Demyx have Roxas and Lee down, taunting them and calling them traitors of the organization. They're about to finish them off, but then Xion comes out to Sora's heart and into the replica that Repliku used to protect them. Xion says exactly what Roxas says in the actual Kingdom Hearts 3 game. Roxas then realizes that Xion was a dear friend who the Oblivion Keyblade originally belonged to, so Roxas hands Xion the Oblivion Keyblade and he hangs onto the Oathkeeper Keyblade. Sora, Xion, Roxas, Kairi, and Lee then finish off the superpowered Saïx and Demyx. As Demyx fades, he says that he just wanted to be a winner and to be respected. Sora says that siding with Xehanort will only lead to more pain, and that there's always room on Sora's team for him, and that he'd always consider him a real winner. Demyx says thank you, and then fades away. Then, Sora, Riku, and Kairi have to fight against Ansem, Xemnas, and young Xehanort, with Master Xehanort in the background throwing dead Keyblades, and Mickey in the background casting magic to try and counteract the dead Keyblades thrown by Master Xehanort. Young Xehanort is the last one defeated in story canon, similar to what was done in the Terranort fight. Young Xehanort laughs, looking at Kairi, gloating about how he stated that she would be the dying flame that leads to Sora's destruction. As young Xehanort is monologuing and fades away, Master Xehanort appears in his place. Master Xehanort had an after-image imitation of himself atop the mountain. The real Master Xehanort was hiding in young Xehanort's shadow the whole time. He tries to stab Kairi in the heart with his gazing eye keyblade, but Sora predictably takes the hit for her. Sora's heart is shattered, and the remaining pieces of his heart and body go up to Kingdom Hearts. All hope is lost. Xehanort has obtained Kingdom Hearts, and Sora has perished. Everyone reunites and is given the horrible news. Well, with all that said, there's only one thing left to do. It's time to pull a Sonic 06. Okay, listen everybody, I know I'm gonna probably get a ton of hate comments comparing Kingdom Hearts 3 to Sonic 06. And trust me, I know that game is terrible and whatnot, even though I'm a big Sonic fanboy, even I can admit that that game is pure garbage. But if there was one thing that I liked about Sonic 06, it was the fact that they played off on the scenario of what would happen if the champion died. I think I really would have liked if Kingdom Hearts 3 did something like that. If they had a situation if Sora perished and all the other Keyblade wielders had to save him. So I really think it would be cool if Kingdom Hearts 3 had a situation like that. So yeah, I'm gonna include something like that in this little abridged Kingdom Hearts 3 story. Anyway, with that said, everyone then realizes how important Sora is to them. He is the person who's fought so hard to save everyone from their birth by sleep. Lee realizes that Sora's not gone, and that he has to be up there, in Kingdom Hearts, the place where all hearts gather. Lee finds that he has faint memories of that place after when his Heartless and Nobody were destroyed. Everyone then enters Kingdom Hearts to track down Xehanort and rescue Sora. It turns out the inside of Kingdom Hearts is a hybrid of the Final World and Scala at Kylum. Next, get the first fight of Scala ad Kylum out of your mind. The fight with the 12 remnants of Organization 13, because we're going to change that a bit. So when everyone enters Kingdom Hearts, they're all separated, but they know what they must do. Each character fights one of the Organization remnants and rescues 10 Soras. In the basement of the Kingdom Hearts Scala ad Kylum castle, we play as Mickey and have to fight our way through a swarm of Heartless. We then find a hologram of Master Xehanort that transforms into the remnant of Marluxia that appeared with Xehanort's other 12 selves in the real Kingdom Hearts 3. Then as Mickey, we defeat the remnant of Marluxia and absorb the 12 pieces of Sora into our Keyblade, and then Mickey leaves, and then we have to play as Donald. And rinse and repeats, we play as Donald and have to collect 10 Soras, fight against the remnant of Larxene, and then we're on to Goofy, and once again, fight through a swarm of Heartless, fight the remnant of Luxord, and then we move up from the basement and up to the ground floor where we have to fight against nobodies. So then, on the ground floor of the castle, we play as Xion and have to fight our way through a bunch of nobodies, collect 10 Soras, and then fight against a Demyx remnant. Then we get to play as Lee, collect 10 Soras, fight our way through nobodies, and fight against an Isa remnant. And then we play as Roxas, collect 10 Soras, fight some more nobodies, and then fight against a Xemnas remnant. And then, in the mid-section of the castle, we have to fight our way through Unversed. So first we start off as Aqua, collect 10 Soras, fight our way through some Unversed, and then fight against Zigbar's remnant. Then we play as Ven, collect 10 Soras, fight some Unversed, and then fight against Vanitas' remnant. And then we play as Terra, again collect 10 Soras, fight against some more Unversed, and fight against the Terranort's remnant. And then finally, we're at the top of the castle, where it's basically a free-for-all of enemies. We have to fight against Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed. At the top portion of the castle, we play as Riku. where we had to collect 10 pieces of Sora, fight our way through Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed, and finish off Ansem's Remnant. Then we get a cutscene where Riku meets Repliku once again in Kingdom Hearts. Repliku tells him to take his pieces of Sora back to the others and that he'll help out and find 10 more pieces. As we play as Repliku, we play as him using the Way to the Dawn Keyblade, again fighting our way through Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed, find 10 more Soras, and then we must fight against the other Repliku's Remnant. Then we get a cutscene. Repliku meets Kairi and sees Namine in her. Repliku thanks Namine for giving him something to live for and gives her the Way to the Dawn Keyblade by handing it to Kairi. He also thanks Sora and says that he's a good kid and that he doesn't have to be real to see that, giving a reference to Chain Memories. Because Repliku is reduced to just a heart, he must remain in Kingdom Hearts and vanishes with a smile on his face. Kairi is confused as to why he thanked Sora, but she doesn't let that distract her and moves on. Finally, at the very top of the castle, we play as Kairi, where she must fight her way through more Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed, collect 10 more Soras, and face off against young Xehanort's Remnant. After that, everyone reunites and gathers their pieces of Sora together through their Keyblades and Staff and Shield in Dawn and Goofy's case, in a fashion similar to the White Trinity in Kingdom Hearts 1. Sora's body returns, but he won't wake up. Kairi thinks back to what Repliku said and realizes that Sora's heart has stepped foot inside of Kairi's heart. Just like how Kairi's heart was in Sora's heart in Kingdom Hearts 1, and Ericus went into Terra's hearts in Birth by Sleep, Kairi prays to Kingdom Hearts to give her friend back. She then gives him a breath of life kiss, and a miracle happens. Sora wakes up. Then, after Sora miraculously wakes up, Yin Sid then contacts the group and says that he's doing his best to use his magic to stop Kingdom Hearts, but he needs help to keep the Heartless at bay. Everyone except Sora, Dawn, and Goofy go back to help Yin Sid. They each give Sora their light, meaning their Keyblades. Then, the armored Xehanort fight begins in Scala ad Caelum, but this time, Sora has everyone's Keyblade to use. Their form change is the same as the Kingdom Key, for the sake of saving on development time, but they each have unique stats. And then, in the final battle against Xehanort, the Keyblade reveals its true power. Sora gains a new form change, Heart Form, where he's able to use all of his friends' Keyblades at once. Think of Final Form from Kingdom Hearts 2, but on steroids. In the final part of the fight, instead of Last Ray, the X-Blade splits itself into 13 gazing eyes. Dawn and Goofy then throw Sora their weapons, and Sora then focuses his 13 weapons in a single ray of light attack against Xehanort's 13 gazing eyes, and then we have a beam struggle, similar to the Ven versus Vanitas fights in Birth by Sleep, and his Kingdom Key delivers the final blow. Xehanort loses, but laughs as it's too late. Kingdom Hearts has been activated, and the X-Blade was destroyed, so there's no way to stop it. Then everyone comes through Kingdom Hearts and reunites with Sora. To Sora's surprise, Aqua seems to have gotten her old Keyblade back. Yin Sid explains that Chip and Dale contacted him after Ienzo discovered it in the Chamber of Repose in the Radiant Garden basement, so Yin Sid was able to rematerialize it to help keep Kingdom Hearts closed outside. Sora then realizes that they can forge another X-Blade by combining their Keyblades together. After Sora and Xehanort's recent clash between light and darkness, they try to forge the X-Blade, but they realize that they are one Keyblade short. Then, after Eric's same lecture from the real Kingdom Hearts 3, Xehanort hands Sora his Gazing Eye Keyblade. They forge the X-Blade, and close Kingdom Hearts, everybody has a happy ending, and Sora doesn't disappear. The end. Now that I'm done talking about my little abridged Kingdom Hearts 3 story, I'd like to finish this video by giving a final verdict for this game. But before I do that, I want to briefly rank every Kingdom Hearts game from worst to best in my opinion. If I had to rank every Kingdom Hearts game from least to greatest, not counting international releases because they're just partial final mixes, or the HD remasters, it would be as follow. First, I would put the original Kingdom Hearts Coded at the very bottom of the list, which was made for Japanese cell phones way back in 2008, if I recall correctly. Then I would place the Kingdom Hearts Recoded, which was a Nintendo DS game and a remake of the original Kingdom Hearts Coded back in 2011. Then I would place Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross, the mobile games that are still going on, only because they're free. Now, if we had to pay for them, then I place them at the bottom of the list, but because they're free, I can't really complain. Next, I'll place the Game Boy Advance game, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Then following Kingdom Hearts 358 Half Days for the Nintendo DS. And then following the PS2 remake, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. And next, I'll place Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2, a fragmentary passage. Even though it's not an actual game, but more of a tech demo, but I still had a lot of fun with it. Then I would place Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance for the Nintendo 3DS. And then, after Dream Drop Distance, I'll place the original Kingdom Hearts 1. It's an awesome game, but it hasn't aged that well, unfortunately. Okay, and then, after Kingdom Hearts 1, I would place Kingdom Hearts 3 as it is today. Again, this might change with the future DLC and potential future Final Mix release, but as of today, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is only a little better than the original Kingdom Hearts 1. Then after Kingdom Hearts 3, I'd place Birth by Sleep. Again, Birth by Sleep for the PSP had awesome gameplay and an awesome story. And then I'll place the original Kingdom Hearts 2 after Birth by Sleep. And next, after Kingdom Hearts 2, I'd place Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix. Following that, I'd place Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. And then, last, but certainly not least, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. To this day, I still believe Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is the best Kingdom Hearts game ever created, and is the definitive Kingdom Hearts experience. Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't perfect, but it certainly is not a bad game. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a great game, but has some glaring flaws in its lack of difficulty and story pacing. If I were to review this game, I'd give it 2 separate scores. The reason for this is because there are plenty of AAA games out there that are short, easy, and have little story, so it isn't fair for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be criticized so harshly because of this. As a regular video game, I'd give this game a 9 out of 10. If you don't care about a cohesive plot or a challenge and just want to have a 30-hour fun single-player campaign, then this game is a major treat. The only major downside is that there's not much replay value here, aside from some mini-games and lucky emblem hunting, so once you defeat the final boss, you'll probably be done with this game until DLC comes out. As a Kingdom Hearts game, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. The lack of replay value, unsatisfying conclusion, no franchise standard critical mode, pathetically easy campaign, and missed opportunities with the other characters just go to show that this is an incomplete product, which will have a definitive version out sometime this or next year, probably. If you want the best Kingdom Hearts experience, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is still the game to play. Well, everybody, that concludes my thoughts for Kingdom Hearts 3. Thank you all for watching my video. I worked really hard on this. Please feel free to leave a comment below. Please tell me, what are your thoughts of Kingdom Hearts 3? Do you agree with a lot of my points, or do you disagree? Also, what do you think of my little abridged version of Kingdom Hearts 3's story. Do you like some of the ideas I came up with, or do you dislike? Please feel free to leave a comment below. And yeah, thanks again everybody for watching. I'm Otaku Hedgehog, and as always, have a way past cool day. Bye-bye! For the record, I ship this.